Hello Internet, Silent Observer here, and today I'm going to read a note that I wrote on my Facebook page. I haven't shared this with anybody. This is the first time I'm sharing it right here on the YouTube channel. So this is just a little clue as to what's going on in this cynical head of mine. So here goes. I've always had shit for luck with women. Either that, or I've always pursued the wrong ones. Maybe there's a hint of both in there somewhere. Whatever way you look at it though, it leaves me at my age, having never had a serious relationship with anyone, and quite frankly, unable to discern, on the rare occasion that someone does appear to be interested, if they're actually telling the truth or not. And as much as I hate admitting that, that's pretty much how things are in my world. Pistanthrophobia is the name for a fear of trust, especially where it comes to relationships arising out of negative past experiences. It's apparently such an uncommon word that my spell checker told me it's wrong as I typed this. It's clearly not in everyone's dictionary, of that much I'm sure. But even though I don't have any past lovers to have had negative experiences with, the years of unrequited love after unrequited love, rejection after rejection, from the most subtle to embarrassingly blatant, have left me cynical and jaded to the point that I almost wonder if there even is such a thing as true love, or if it's all an illusion that will tragically reveal itself for what it is once the novelty wears off. It's bad enough that if a female were to come up to me and pour her heart out in the most obvious fashion, baring her soul with tear-filled eyes, telling me how much she loved me, and for how long she'd felt that way, practically throwing herself into my arms, acting in such a way that no reasonable person would expect her to act if the feelings weren't genuine, I would still be looking around for the hidden camera, waiting for the punchline, convinced that it was all a joke, and that once again I was the sucker who fell for it. In other words, I wouldn't believe her. Hell, it wouldn't even need to be a tenth that dramatic, and I would still be wondering who put her up to this, looking for the sick motherfucker enjoying his or her moment of schadenfreude while my heart got ripped into a million pieces for the umpteenth time. It thus stands to reason that, in my life, the only female in whom I can place my full trust is my mother. If my grandmother was still alive, she'd be on the list as well. And she was, until she passed away 20 years ago this December. In other words, if you're a member of the opposite sex and you didn't give birth to me, you've got a tough road ahead of you if you want to win my affections. I don't pursue relationships precisely for this reason. I have no doubt that there are some people with whom I grew up who have secretly wondered if I was gay. Well, I can say with absolute certainty that I am not. I am very much heterosexual, even if my love life is non-existent. And I can assure you, it hasn't been for lack of trying. In fact, I think that one word, trying, is part of my downfall. The other part? Actually listening to my parents. This is the one area where I clearly should have rebelled. I was raised primarily by my grandmother. My mother did have a part, certainly, but my grandmother was retired by the time I came along, and so she was home most of the time when I came home from school, while my parents worked. My dad and grandfather worked on a farm, which I couldn't join them in due to severe allergies as a child, and so I was around my grandmother for most of my childhood. I was always taught that you treat women and girls with respect. You didn't hit girls. You held the door for them. You were generally nice. And so, I took that to heart. Oh boy, did reality slap me in the face on that one. As I got older and got to the age where I was starting to show interest in the opposite sex, I learned very quickly that all the rules I was taught meant jack shit in the real world. All the guys I knew who were very popular with the ladies did everything I was always taught not to do. Several of them went through women like a new guitar player goes through a set of strings. And all the while, I couldn't get one to give me the time of day. But they sure did like to talk to me when their man got into fights with them, or beat the shit out of them, or verbally abused them. I was always first call when that happened. But date me? No, they couldn't do that. I was too nice. Read, I wasn't enough of an asshole for their liking. I didn't have it in me to be an absolute prick to them like their boyfriends were. I had manners and raising, as we say in the South. Well, it was as true then as it is now. Manners and raising equals a very lonely existence. And by this point, the damage was done. Everything I'd been taught had been hardwired into my brain by now. I didn't have it in me to be the asshole. Believe me, I tried on a few occasions. And while I admit it was met with moderate success, more attention than normal, it always felt fake to me. It always felt like I was back on the stage in my high school theater class, putting on an act, playing the part of someone I knew I wasn't. And so, after a few unsuccessful tries at that, and a few more unsuccessful tries at trying to win women over just being my natural self, I threw in the towel. I haven't seriously pursued a relationship since about 15 years ago. I did try one more half-hearted attempt about 10 or so years ago, but my heart was hardening by then. The walls were almost completely built, and so it didn't really disappoint me all that much when I found out she was already in a relationship with someone. As I said before, you're a member of the opposite sex, and you're not my mother. You're going to have a hard time convincing me when you say you have feelings for me. In fact, at first glance, I probably won't believe you. If you're looking for someone to chase you, you're barking up the wrong tree. If you're looking for a sugar daddy, there might be some rappers or pop stars out there who are recently single that you can try your luck with. I'm not your guy. But if you genuinely have feelings for me, and you want to be in my life, warts and all, just know that behind the walls is someone who really wants to love, who really wants someone he can trust. Prove me wrong. Prove to me that there really is such a thing as true love. But just remember, I'm not going to make it easy for you. You're going to have to work for it. Now, I wrote that about 2 months ago, but I've felt this way for years. And the truth is, I have yet to find anybody that has proven me wrong. I've just never seen it. In all this time, I've never seen anybody that really wants to be with me for me. And that's just the way things are these days. It's all about what you can do. I personally don't believe there is such a thing as true love. I mean, maybe there is in the case of a parent-child relationship. Maybe unconditional love exists in that type of relationship, but not in interpersonal relationships, not with someone you're not related to. It's all what you can do for them. It's what can you provide for me? What's in it for me? How does this relationship that we're in benefit me? This is the way the woman thinks. So, what's the point? We know it's a statistical fact that 50% of marriages end in divorce. So, right from the jump, you've got a 50-50 shot at this. And you know that if you do get divorced from this woman that you marry, that you claim to be so in love with, that the divorce court is stacked against you. If you're a man, the divorce court is stacked against you. And if you have kids and you're a man, the family court is stacked against you. Unless the mother's proven to be a junkie that blows all her money on dope, they're going to give the kid to the mother, and sometimes even if they're proven to be a junkie that blows all their money on dope, they'll still give the kid to the mother, and the dad's got to pay for it. And he can't ever see his kids. Some people go to jail for kids that aren't even theirs. So, where is the incentive for a man to get in a relationship? Where is the incentive for a man to get married? I don't see it. And that's why I don't plan on it. This is a tough thing for me because, I'm an only child. I'm all my parents have. I'm the only one that can carry on my family name. But if these are the odds that I've got to deal with, then I guess it's going to go down with me because I just don't see where it's a benefit. I would so love to be proven wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. Till next time.